The area. So this is a higher topic. So the sector, if you can see, is part of a full circle. So to find the area of a circle, it's pi r squared. How do you find the sector area? So you need the proportion of the circle in the sector multiplied by pi r squared, because it's a proportion of the full circle. How does that look like in a formula? Theta over 360, theta is the angle over 360 gives you the proportion of the circle that you have in your sector. And then we times it by, well, it's area, isn't it? So area of a circle, pi r squared. You have to know that formula, you have to remember it. Okay, then you just simply put your information into your formula. So 0.7 over 360. No, it's not, that's the radius, sorry. 109 over 360 times pi r squared, radius 0.7. Just pop the information into your calculator. .466 or 0.5 to 1 decimal place. If you are sitting the GCSE, not the IGCSE, you might find this question on the non-calculator paper. So let's have a look at how to answer it without calculator. Well, I guess on the IGCSE, the question might ask you to find your answer in terms of pi. So 60 is your angle over 360 times pi times 12 squared. So best thing to do, I think, here is to simplify your fraction first. Divide both sides by 10, not both sides, the numerator and denominator. Divide your numerator and denominator by 6 and you get 1/6. 12 squared is 144. So this is really now, it's all of this divided by 6. So we could just do, well, it's 1/6 of 144 pi. So let's work out 1/6 of 144. If you're good with your mental maths, you can just work this out in your head. If not, use the bus stop method. .24. The answer is 24 pi. Here are 3 questions. Put me on pause. When you're done, unpause. Okay, how did you get on? I'm going to demonstrate these answers now. In fact, I won't, yeah, so for the first 2, for the non-calculator ones, sorry, for the calculator ones, I'm going to put my answer straight into the calculator, my values. So 70 over 360 times pi times 50 squared gives you an answer of 1,527.2 centimetres squared as the area. The second one, your theta is 142. 142 divided by 360 times pi times 19 squared gives you an answer of 447.3. This third one, without a calculator, let's look at all the working out here. 18 over 360 times pi times 10 squared. So I would halve both of these first of all to get 9 over 180. And then they have a common factor of 9. Divide the numerator and denominator by 9, and you get 1/20. 10 squared is 100. So we've just got now 1/20 of 100 pi. 100 divided by 20 is 5. So the answer is 5 pi. You might get some more complicated problem-solving questions with sector area. So often you're given the area, you have to work back to either find the radius or the angle. I'm going to demonstrate one question and then give you some questions to work out yourself. So we know the formula by now, hopefully. 115 over 360 times pi times radius squared. Our radius is unknown, it's x, equals 20. How do we rearrange this? We need to make x the subject. Well, x squared the subject first. How do we reverse everything? There's a few different ways you can do this, but I'd start by getting rid of this fraction. Opposite of dividing by 360 is times in both sides by 360. So we have 115 times pi, or 115 pi times x squared. If we times that left-hand side by 360, it just disappears. Times the right-hand side by 360, and we have 7,200. We're then going to divide both sides by 115 pi, because that's the opposite of timesing by 115 pi. I'm just going to leave it in a fraction for now, but you can actually work this out if you want. And then last step. How do you get x by itself now? Opposite is squaring a square root. So I'm going to square root that entire fraction. Type that into my calculator. And you get an answer of 4.46 or 4.5 centimetres to 1 decimal place. Okay, for this next question, have a go at these 3 questions. Put me on pause and then you can unpause to see how you get on. Okay, so for this first one, 26 over 360 times pi x squared equals 98. I'm going to multiply both sides by 360. Get 26 pi x squared. You can put times in between if you want, or you can leave them out, up to you. No, you don't. You get 35,280. Divide both sides by 26 pi. And then square root both sides. Gives you x is 20.8. Let me just double check that one. Okay, question 2. This time we have an angle that's missing instead of the radius. So theta over 360 times pi times 5 squared equals 17.45. Let's multiply both sides by 360. Yeah, pi theta times pi times 25, because 5 squared is 25, equals 6,282. Let's divide both sides by 25 pi. So theta is, let's just work that out, 79.9849 rounds to 80.0 degrees. This next one's without a calculator. Well, that angle is 36. First thing, I always simplify the fraction. Common factor is 36. If I divide the numerator by 36, I get 1. If I divide the denominator by 36, I get 10. Both sides have a pi in it, so I'm going to divide both sides by pi. Then I don't want to get, I don't like this fraction here. So this is dividing by 10. I'm going to times both sides by 10. If I times the left-hand side by 10, that 10 disappears to leave me with x squared. And I times the right-hand side by 10, I get 400. Need to square root both sides. Remember, without a calculator. So I'd be thinking, well, the square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 400 has got to be 20, isn't it? Because 20 times 20 is 400. Okay, thanks for listening to my recording.